because I won't play the poor Mexican, the downtrodden gay, the constantly victimized, that does hurt where it is I end up going at this point in time. But the way I see it is that's not something that I want to do just because of my own personal. So instead, I create my own lane and I continue to create my own lane, which is what a lot of people should do. In my opinion, if you really want to get ahead and you don't want to take the traditional route or the route you're told, then create your own lane and then you don't have to complain all the time. There's plenty of people of color that have been very successful. Oprah has been successful. She's a perfect example. She started off poor, and I believe it was Alabama. She was Mississippi. I believe it was Mississippi. And so when it comes to a situation like that, what's stopping you from getting where you want to go if Oprah could start off where she started off and not be a size 2 and be everything that's not supposed to get to where she got to? Especially considering what year she started off, what year she was born, her age. Nothing should have led to Oprah being a billionaire, but she somehow got there. But for some reason, you can't. You just refuse. So if you give up, you give up. The way I see it is if we're swimming together and you decide to stop paddling because maybe the water gets a little too rough or the shore looks a little too far away and you decide that you're going to just stop, well, then you drown. And that's just what happens. I'm not going to drown with you and I'm not going to let you drag me down because you decided not to do something that I am continuing to do. And I've done that even in my own personal life with a lot of things, most recently with weed. I noticed that weed was making it so I wasn't as sharp when I was recording my videos. It also took me longer to edit because I would babble more. I would use more filler words. And so I decided that even though I like smoking weed, that I should stop smoking weed so that I could do better at this. When it comes to being on the road, I could complain about people in certain states or from political parties, certain political parties. Democrats, let's be honest, Democrats want to stay home, Republicans want to get back in the world. So I could complain about Democrats keeping me from working right now because they want to keep so many things shut down and under restrictions. Or I could start working on my YouTube video and start working on my online content and figure something out in a different avenue. So if I'm willing to do that in my own life, I don't know why anybody else can't do that in theirs. And yeah, it may take a little more thinking. It may not be what your original plan was, but that's how we grow and that's how we learn. And when it comes to getting along with people, sometimes you're going to have to get along with people that you don't necessarily line up with politically or as far as religion goes or as far as a lot of the things, sexual orientation, a lot of the things that divide people. Sometimes if you want to get to where you want to be, then you just have to work around that and not make that the focus of your relationship with certain people. Instead, you figure out how that's going to work out for you or how the best way to work that is. I mean, you can either charm a snake and make him dance for you, or you can run up on him and have him bite you. But if you choose to run up on him and he bites you, I'm going to be like, well, that's your fault for being stupid. I'm not going to have your back and be like, oh, you're right. That snake should have just let you run up on him like that. Anyway, I hope I articulated that well because I am tired of people being offended just for being offended. And I saw one guy on Twitter, and he was a black guy. He was verified, so I doubt he was like a bot or something fake. He probably is some sort of standing because they do verify on Twitter. And he was saying that he also thought that there was some truth to what Jared Kushner was saying, and that if they hadn't edited it, people would have gotten a better understanding of that. Instead, everybody started calling him names and saying that he was trying to please white people and that he was tap dancing. And it's just like, does it always have to be that? Can't anybody just have a different point of view and be a person of color and not be 100% against you or a coon? It's getting played out, and to me it really does make it seem at that point like maybe you are just lazy. Maybe if you think that the best course of action is always just to complain on Twitter instead of working on your life, then maybe you're exactly what you think Jared Kushner was alluding to, but he didn't say in so many words, but you still are going to make that the narrative. Anyway, this has been Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world. I had a friend complain to me about not hitting the enough on some of these. He said in one, I even just did my eyes. Chris Storin, my best friend, who agrees with almost nothing I say as far as in my commentary. So if you don't like what I say, don't go to him with it. He's definitely not on board with a lot of this. We just happen to be best friends, and he puts up with my crazy. But he definitely does not agree with everything I say, but he will let me know every once in a while. Again, that's where you have to be able to take constructive criticism, because he told me, don't do that lazy just with your eyes. Hit it or don't do it. So this has been Ty Rivera, the absolute best LGBTQ comedian in the world.